Hello! Okay, everybody, this is me, FJOJR, and we are doing the final Splatfest ever. Decided to come in, and I think this is probably the only day I'll be able to do this because I'm heading out on a trip this weekend. So let's play as long as possible until I'm too tired to keep on playing. I've chosen team order, if you can see by my shirt. So we're just gonna go around and look for some interesting messages here. So very excited. Wow, this is epic. Sheesh. People have really brought their A game for the final during the chaos. They've got their Discord there as well. That's pretty cool. So, there's your Shadow the Hedgehog. What is that chaos? A miserable little pile of messes. Castlevania references. Wow, I'm just excited to play the final one. This is gonna be really fun. That rhymed. So let's see. Let the chaos begin. Order in the court. Team order. F my team. Snowmaya. Order corn. Oh, hey, what's up, BU? There's a playing some Splatoon here. Let's see. My final ever Splatfest. And I'm just playing around stuff, you know. Talked to my brother-in-law today about sports loyalty and fandom. He kind of had some interesting, very, very interesting perspective as to that question. So on the last episode of Sports Goose, which is my other channel, we decided to talk about the fact that I don't have a Splatfest team, so I'm just gonna go with normal. Actually, do I have any friends on? I would think she's got a full room, and guess I'm gonna have to go myself. Anyways, my brother-in-law had an interesting perspective as far as fandom is concerned and loyalties to either a team or a player. And so he something that we don't really think about is the places, like traveling the United States, especially the places in between. There's a lot of like space in between people with, from a major city. So there's a lot of space between Miami and Tampa, and then Tampa to Jacksonville, Tampa to Orlando, Jacksonville to Atlanta, Atlanta to Nashville, and Nashville to Memphis, Atlanta to Charlotte, Charlotte to DC. I mean, there's just a lot of space in between. So sometimes people just people in between have to figure out what they want to be fans of, if they want to be fans of anything. So my brother-in-law grew up in Arkansas. That's where he's from. And Arkansas doesn't have any major professional baseball or professional sports teams, really. They have the Arkansas Razorbacks and whatnot, but they don't really have anything else other than some minor sports or what have you. So I'm getting sprayed by some bold people here. Dang it! Anyways, his perspective was that sometimes for him, it's like in Arkansas, you either have a choice. You gotta, the two closest teams after that or nearby are either the St. Louis Cardinals or the Texas Rangers. So, same thing for football. And so, a lot of people there might be Cowboys fans, and of course Jerry Jones is the owner of the Cowboys, and he's an Arkansas guy. So, just something like that would influence him, or just who he sees on TV. He knows that a lot of people he grew up with tend to be Atlanta Braves fans or even Chicago Cubs fans, because TBS for the longest time used to exclusively broadcast the Atlanta Braves games because Ted Turner owned the Braves. We are getting killed here. I gotta find a way to get deep into that zone. Dang it! Got a minute left here. So WGN would show off the Chicago Cubs because it was also nationally televised. So a lot of people would either just through that would become Braves fans. And come on, how did that guy shoot me? They are really taking it to us in this first game. And that person has made it deep into the zone, so let's see what I can do in this last minute here. I need to at least get 1,000. Wow, that person kills me in one shot. And this wasn't a really good game for me. And to his point, when I became a fan of baseball, well, actually, no, I'm going to keep going. So he's actually, to his point with regards to people in between, maybe they just have to follow certain players, because some certain players, you see them on ESPN and what have you, they're the ones that are promoted the most. So he's from Arkansas, but he's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. And the reason he's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan is because he became a fan of Jaromir Jagr. Jaromir Jagr, a prominent NHL player that was promoted and shown off. So he became a Jagr fan, primarily a Jagr fan, and then from there, of course, because Jagr played for the Penguins, he became a Penguins fan. And it's also this level of free agency and I guess players forcing their way through out of certain cities by forcing trades has caused people not to be a fan of the team because the player doesn't stay long enough in a certain place for you to kind of get a sort of affiliation or some sort of like sentimental feeling to that team. So because he became a fan of Jagr when Jagr came up, the Penguins just happened to win 2 Stanley Cups in a row, and Jagr stays on the Penguins for a long while before he's traded to the Washington Capitals. Because of all that, he grew a sentimental value to the Penguins even after Jagr left the Penguins. So, hey, of course they had players like Mario Lemieux and Ron Francis and what have you, Tom Barrasso. But for him, it was the fact that Jagr was there for so long that he just, okay, I'm just going to remain a Penguins fan, even though, of course, he was always a fan of Jagr no matter where he went. Maybe that Philly stop, he didn't really like it, but so, and I get that because I kind of felt, well, I didn't really feel that way with regards to baseball. I mean, I became a Marlins fan, but simultaneously my favorite baseball player was Sammy Sosa. And because of that point that he made, that WGN would be broadcasting the Cubs games, and the Chicago Cubs, primarily at home, play day games. So I would come home from school, and the Cubs game would be on. So I come home from school around 2 o'clock or something like that. I was in elementary school, so yeah, elementary school ends around 2 o'clock. That's when the Cubs games are about to start. And that was 98 during the home run chase. So I'm learning about all this stuff, and you're seeing things about Sammy Sosa, and of course he's Latino, so I start realizing that that's important and stuff like that to me. And so then Sammy Sosa became my favorite baseball player. And because the Marlins were nearby, that's, hey, this baseball thing's pretty cool. And I guess this baseball team is near me, so I might as well follow them. Because for me, it was like, I can't see Sammy Sosa personally all the time. Even though the first Marlins game that I can remember going to was the Marlins against the Cubs with Sammy in the middle of the home run chase. He didn't hit one that night, but it was pretty cool. So I kind of get that sort of thing. Now, of course, I'm a fan of all the local teams in South Florida. The Marlins, the Panthers, the Dolphins, and the Heat. The only thing is college sports. I'm a Florida State fan, alma mater, and I don't like the Hurricanes. And their misery brings me much joy. And I'm about to pop out of here because these people keep shooting me down. I've already made 400 points in this first minute here. So let's just keep on going. And I'm going to try and play for a few hours. I got to work tomorrow, but I really want to put in some points for Team Order here. Because, let's see what I can do. It's gotten a little too quiet around here. I don't like that. Cute. That's what I wanted to do. And get the heck out of there. Go, 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 go. I feel like they're missing something. It's way too quiet here. Come on, get up there. I'm out. Get out of there. Just get one more special so I can come back around. Go. You. I think we won that one. Let me see what you said, BU. They're boss. They're not your team. They're Boston's team. I mean, I would say that because I know I had a friend that was from Maine, so the people up in Maine affiliate with the Boston sports teams, or their nearest teams outside of Montreal, I would say. So yeah, Boston would be the closest teams, and the Patriots are the New England Patriots, even though they're playing Foxborough, which is that's outside of Boston. So yeah, Boston Bruins, Boston Celtics, and Boston Red Sox, especially the Red Sox. And especially because those teams not only those teams not only have their, they're all based in Boston, or the greater Boston area, but their minor league teams are also nearby. So but the minor league teams, like the G League, or the G League team for the Boston Celtics, are the Maine Red Claws, so they play in Maine. The AHL team for the Boston Bruins are the Providence Bruins, so they play out in Providence. And the Red Sox have a team in Pawtucket. So they've seeded even their minor league teams so that the people around the New England area, they're going to see their guys coming up and then make it to the big team in Boston. So, and that was another point that my brother-in-law made, because he said that I guess whatever minor league baseball team is out in Little Rock, they're the minor league, or at least I don't know if they still are, but at least they were the minor league affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels. So the LA Angels, what a lot of people in Arkansas happen to be LA Angels fans, because Mike Trout passed through that city on his way to becoming freaking the best player in baseball. And so now you have in Arkansas a large contingent of Angels fans who they're fans of Mike Trout, and thus they're fans of the Los Angeles Angels. They should just call them the Anaheim Angels. They're nowhere near Los Angeles, but that's another thing. Yo, what's up? Rogue. Gosh darn it, I just got splatted. Rogue Binky, there you go. What's up? How you doing? We're playing the final Splatfest. I am playing, but I don't know if you are, but playing the final Splatfest Splatocalypse. I work tomorrow, but this is my only real chance to put up some points for Team Order, so I'm about to get there. Anyways, and the person all the time, because, football, I mean, as far as football is concerned, just getting to what is this? What is happening here? I started off so well, now I can't even make it to the other side. I'm gonna have to do a little sneaking here. Let's see how I can do this. How is this happening? crap, crap, crap. Come on, come on, come on. Give. Thank you. Okay, I did something at least at the end of that. So hold on, let me see these comments by BU. Matt, I want you. This is me, huh? I just said, but even in Maine, there's some oddballs who wrote for other teams. A lot of New York Giants fans from families who support them prior to the Patriots arriving. And yeah, we lost that. Let's see. And Rogue Binky. Yeah, because of this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Pats games. Sheesh. But at least that's once a week and maybe once every 2 weeks or whatever. So you can plan around making one trip out over there, I guess you would say. What was I going to make the next thing I was going to say? So I was talking about the Anaheim or whatever. Mike Trout being an Angels fan. So it was an interesting perspective of my brother-in-law. He's from Arkansas, and that's kind of like, okay. I mean, he also said like he never doesn't have a favorite NFL team, but he watches college sports, college football. His alma mater, his favorite team is the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So he'll follow fellow Bulldogs as they move on to the NFL. So like right now he's a Dak Prescott fan. He's not a Dallas Cowboys fan, but he's a Dak Prescott fan. He said like, hey, if Prescott ever went someplace else or was traded or what have you, he suddenly won't be a Cowboys fan because he's more of a fan of fellow Bulldogs and such than I just got freaking killed. Than he is of the Cowboys. He just doesn't have an NFL team, and he used to not have an NBA team, but because of myself and my sister, and of course the Big Three era and the Heat, so he became a Heat fan, and then not a hardcore one, a casual one. So he'll follow the Heat, and of course if any Mississippi State Bulldog basketball players ever made it, he'd follow them for sure. Crap. Finally sneak on here. Let's see where we can find more points. We're gonna have to make a big play over here. Okay, it's way too quiet around here. And that's probably why that guy is hovering above. So let's kind of sneak into their zone. And we'll just kind of keep an eye on the back here so I don't get caught from behind. I think they're missing people. No, there's no way I should be sneaking into their zone like this. They're probably missing people. It's probably like 2 people gone. There's no way I can be kind of just waltzing around here without any issue. Or there's a lot of gold here. Maybe we just are not finding each other. I don't see how that could be happening. Crap. Let's just find points here. Let's go into the zone. Alrighty. Let's see. Yeah, there's plenty of people on RCFB who are like that because they want their alums to do well, but don't necessarily care for the NFL themselves, or just don't live near an NFL city. Yeah. I wish I didn't like the Dolphins, but I do. I wish I was like that, really. Of course, everybody who has especially if you're an alum, you'll cheer for your guys. So like I'll be happy if Dalvin Cook is having a really great season for the Vikings. Jameis is a moron, and we talked a little bit about him too. That we kind of project him as being a career backup at this point because he hasn't. I mean, his turnover factory is a little too open for business nowadays. And oh man, I don't have any more to upgrade. So let's put on a hockey helmet, just for the aesthetics standpoint. What was it? So yeah, okay, but whatever. Enough about Jameis. He's a moron. Anyways, so some interesting points from my brother-in-law. He's got a lot of. I wish I could get him on the show, but he's always working. You know, he's always working. Around that time, so yeah, he became a Heat fan, and so and he's a Cardinals fan, but the Cardinals were nearby, and so that was that was the reason he became a fan of them. And of course, the Cardinals are successful, so that has something to do with it as well. But I can kind of see where things are going with regards to people following just the players because of how things are turning so quickly. I'm surprised I'm still a Marlins fan. All my favorite players get traded away every 3 seasons, so we got to enjoy most of that core of that 2003 team for 2 seasons, at least, after they won the World Series. It wasn't completely destroyed like the 97 team was the following season. Let's see what we got going on here. So we're in Moray Towers, Smash Brothers course. Actually, I don't really play a lot on that course, and I don't really see it. I don't really even on online play. I don't play much in Smash. It never pops up a lot, so I don't know why. I don't know what that is. Why that is. And that guy's over there. You know what? Screw you. Nope. We're not dealing with that. Just try and sneak into their zone. And we'll just toss that over there because I see people. And we'll try and loop back around. And that's what I wanted to do. Thank you. And I am out. Oh, get back. That's what I wanted to do. Sneak into their zone nice and stealthily so I can just do a bunch of this. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but the top of these walls are also points. And they're points left on the table. Because a lot of your enemies tend to ignore them, but there's still points on the table, so you could kind of get points in their zone. Yeah, we're not doing that. Oh, how did that... Okay, I guess I was within the zone there for that. Whatevs. Okay, sure, why not? Yeah, this game should not be this close. Come on now. Come on, teammates. Let's pop back in here. Put that over there. Get myself on this side. There we go. Okay, what's going on in sports actually today? I didn't even check. So we've got. I know the Marlins won 4-3, ninth inning walk off. The Phillies beat the Dodgers. The Red Sox beat the Jays. The Royals beat the White Sox, so that kind of ruins their tank for one night at least. The Yanks beat the Rays. The Rays can't beat the Yankees for some reason. It always seems like they lose to the Yankees. So that doesn't bode well if they ever meet in the playoffs. The Indians beat the Tigers. Looks like the Cards beat the Reds. Milwaukee's winning 2-1. Of course they are, because Christian Yelich is a god now. The Mets and the Giants are 1-1 right now, and that's all I see there. So, what was I talking about? Sports fandoms, really, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard for. It's nice being on a. It's easy being on a bandwagon. Okay, it's easy to go jump from team to team. I would say people who are fans of players, sometimes some players don't go into some good situations. So, yeah, I don't have a. I don't know if I can get well. I get the score crawl from from ESPN, so I don't think they have a CFL score crawl. It'd be amazing if they did. They used to have an NBA G League one, which I was very surprised about, but they shut that down. A 10x battle. Okay, so stakes are high on this one. All right, let's do it. I'm going to try and do something a little different. Just kind of toss that over there and then move back and get all of these real quick. And hop right back around and see if I can kind of get deep into that zone of theirs. And I'm out. And then kind of get our spawn point. Bit of a distraction to start out over there, get them kind of scrambling so my teammates can get the rest of the map. And go. Gotcha. There. Oh, I wish. You know, it'd be a pretty cool weapon in Splatoon, and that guy's about to pop through here, so I'm gonna go over here. A C4 type of weapon. That'd be so cool to have in Splatoon. They have mines. They do have mines, but like one that you could set off as soon as you knew somebody was crawling over it. Like Snake and Smash Brothers. That'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be a cool weapon for Splatoon 3. You. You. Here. And I'll stay in their zone until I can see that we are clear to go back to the other side. There we go. Ooh. I'm just gonna spend all this time in their zone, so somebody's gonna have to come and get me. And that's how you do it, folks. That's how you do Splatoon 2. Just redirected to TSN page. I guess, well, if TSN is a sports crawl, I could probably get it from them. Yeah, I could probably get TSN sports crawl, because, you know, I'd like to include at least the CFL, so when we see it on the show, it's like, oh, there's the CFL. That's what's going on over there up in Canada. So, another thing, I guess, I saw the NBA's 75th anniversary is going to happen in, like, the 2021-22 season, I think. And we got new maps for this coming hour? What time is it? It's already midnight. Wow. I'm still going. I'm going to go until I'm tired. Let's see. So I've done this for about 38 minutes. Maybe I can give it another hour before I'm pooped out. Let's see if there's any friends on. And it looks like they're online, but they're not in the room, so I guess I'll go solo once more. So, yeah, so the NBA is kind of thinking about possibly doing a short season for that 75th anniversary. So reducing the 82 game schedule of the NBA. So it won't be 82 games. Now, I have a plan for this, and I've discussed this before, but I don't think I've fully articulated the plan in a, like, I have to sit down and kind of do a concrete sort of plan. But I would like the NBA to kind of do sort of like a hybrid. Let me get my controls set. There we go. A hybrid NBA, MLB/NFL type of schedule, where maybe you could have like a series of games, and I think the NHL could also benefit from this, but I think the NBA would be most suited to this. I'd leave the playoff format alone, because I think it creates necessary amounts of drama. Maybe I would shorten the first round back to 5 games like it used to be, just so we can get that out of the way much faster. Because there's no reason for some teams to be playing a 7-game series and having to win 4. Plus, I think it would create a little more chaos, because it's much easier for an underdog to win 3 games in a row than 4 games in a row, or at least pull off an upset. So I'd leave the playoff format alone and just shorten the first round, just like in baseball, or just like it used to be in the NBA. It used to be that way. Crap, I'm dead. Yeah, I know. It's all, for a lot of those teams, it's like, oh, they get that extra home game or something. At least 2 home playoff games that they can charge people for. And I get that. But which is why I'm not going to shorten the amount of teams. But what I would want to do, I know a lot of Eastern Conference owners won't like this, is I want to do away with the divisions and the conferences. Because I think the NBA is the perfect sport to be suited for just a 1 through 16 seed playoff format, regardless of geographic location. And so no more divisions, and I think each team is at least guaranteed maybe now I said that each team should get one home game against one team and 1 road visit. So the LA Lakers will only come one time to Miami to face the Heat, and vice versa. Now, yes, there'd be less games to sell during the regular season, but I would say you could charge more because, hey, you want to see LeBron James and Anthony Davis the one time they come to Miami? Well, here they are. You know, and you'll pay for a standing room only seat or whatever. And I think that would... that's going to be the way it is for a lot of NBA teams, and you could charge a bunch load for that. League-wide round robin. I mean, I'd have the same playoff format. Well, okay, well, even then, the New York Knicks only come one time to Miami. It would shorten the season. And I guess to alleviate this, and I guess to add a couple more games to my shortened schedule, I would expand to 2 more cities as for this 75th anniversary. So Seattle will get the Supersonics back, and I don't know where you could place another team. I think, who was it? Freddie? I think Freddie was the one that had like his list of teams, of places he would expand to. I mean, as far as the NBA goes to weird places. I mean, Kansas City has their arena all set to go. I mean, it's been there for a while. So any NHL or NBA team can just waltz in. But Pittsburgh doesn't have an NBA team, and I don't think they've ever. They've never had an NBA team. I don't know how they would welcome an NBA team. I mean, it'd have to be yellow and black. They'd have to have those colors, and so I'm not sure how they would receive. I can't even gauge Pittsburgh's basketball affinity with regards to like I guess if Pitt was good at basketball, they'd obviously be behind them, but I mean they're in the ACC as well, so it's not easy, but it's a basketball conference, that's for sure. So maybe I threw out the possibility of putting a team in Kentucky because the Kentucky Colonels of the ABA were so successful, and the NBA goes to weird places, so it wouldn't be out of character for the NBA. They're already in Oklahoma City, they're already in Portland, they're already in San Antonio, just in Salt Lake City. There's places that are it's just the NBA that's there. So the NBA, I think, has more of those places where it's only the NBA goes there. Well, the NBA is the only major professional sports team there. Because the NHL has the Canadian teams. I guess that's the only one you would say that they'd have a bunch of those. But let's pump through. Oh wow! What the heck is that? What just happened? Get out of there! I'll look at the comment real quickly. I just have to get the lay of this course here because I don't have any whatsoever. If I do a little sneaking into these people's zone so I can kind of do some damage. There we go. Come on. Okay, 1 minute left. How are we doing? I think we're doing pretty well. Gonna get my 1,000 points here. Gotcha. Whoa! How did they survive that? Well, I splattered them anyways, but that was very strange. I need to find some points around here before I die. Whoa! What the heck is going on? Throw that up there. Okay, so let's see. Louisville, KC, Seattle, Vancouver, Las Vegas. I could see Vegas. I would see the NBA. I can very much see the NBA in Vegas. I think Seattle and Vegas would probably be the best candidates, to be honest. Yeah, and that's true. It is very East heavy. Seattle and Vegas, even though there's still, yeah, like you said, there's a huge gap between Minnesota. Minnesota seems to just be out there. Between Minnesota and what's the nearest NBA city? It's actually probably Milwaukee or Chicago than anything else. St. Louis doesn't have a team either, and they do have an NBA championship via the Hawks. Yeah. Yeah, Vegas and Seattle. Pretty much the NHL's expansion. Vegas and Seattle. Yeah, and the fact that the Thunder are in the Northwest Division, even though they probably should be in a division with Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, just from a regional standpoint and a rivalry standpoint, they really should be in the same division in that sense. Because it's right up the line, you know, Texas versus Oklahoma, that type of stuff, you know. There's some natural. That's a natural rivalry. You don't have any. There's no natural rivalry between OKC and Minnesota, or any Oklahoma. Not even college sports. Oklahoma and Minnesota, or Oklahoma and frickin' Oregon. Yeah, the NBA's. I mean, even the Chicago Bulls are in the East, even though, like in the NHL, the Blackhawks are in the West. The NHL's distribution is kind of affected by the fact that they have Canadian teams. So, going out west made sense. Made a lot of sense. As far as the NHL is concerned, let's see. I'm still waiting on word on how the Arizona Coyotes situation is going to go, and I've already thrown out the proposal that the NHL should merge the Arizona Coyotes with the Florida Panthers to put together. And that's why I'm wearing the hockey helmet, for defense against that type of stuff. The secondary weapons tend to always surprise me and kill me in stupid ways. Let's get over here. Here, and let's go. Go. So yeah, my proposal is to merge the Coyotes and the Panthers. If the Arizona Coyotes cannot get a resolution to their arena predicament than just to do that. Although I do say that Arizona fans were coming out to even to Glendale, even though Glendale's a horrible travel situation for them. Ah, crap. Yeah, the Yotes are going to the Central. Once again, I think it's the NHL with the preventative measure because it has been known that the Houston Rockets owner wants an NHL team, so they can fill out the nights out in Houston. Central puts them right in a division which would create a natural rivalry with the Dallas Stars. So that's kind of very much the NHL can pluck the Coyotes right out and just do the same thing that they did with the Drafters in one off season. Just send them off to Houston and sell the season tickets and get on and get going. Especially for an Arizona team because they'll have a big pocketed owner, with a young team that's up and coming. So, and Houston's one of the largest markets that doesn't have an NHL team. So, I could see a lot of Houstoners that are maybe Dallas Stars fans just by, default, just picking up their allegiance for the Houston team. So, I had the division layout. Once we get to 32 teams, I kind of hope that the NHL would go to an NFL style. Like, we'll keep the conferences East and West, and we'll go to an NFL style 4 divisions each. So, but of course, I had that with the intention that Quebec would get their team back in any way whatsoever, either through expansion or through the movement of another team, with of course no sacrifice of the Carolina Hurricanes or the Florida Panthers. It was most likely either expanding over there or the Coyotes moving, but it kind of ruined because I had 2 divisions where you had an East Canada division and a West Canada division. So it would have been Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver in one division, and the other side would be Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec. So I think it would have been pretty cool to see that. The NHL can basically say, okay, we're guaranteeing Justin Trudeau's entered the chat. We're guaranteeing at least 2 of those teams are going to make the playoffs and have a shot at the Stanley Cup to end their drought. And just the rivalries alone would have been awesome. Just I can't even imagine. Like I would be so excited seeing that type of thing, and especially even under the under this playoff format where you do have to face an in-division team. You start off in the divisions, even though you would have to restructure the playoff format because I don't think it would entirely work because you can't guarantee that a second team in your division will have enough points to make the playoffs. You could have a completely garbage division, and a lot of divisions in baseball or the NBA. Like really, the most pathetic division in the NBA last season was probably the Southeast Division. Ah, crap. Let's get out of here. Yeah, they could have the top two teams make the playoffs. So you'd be guaranteeing at least. Crap! I'm about to be splatted. Get the heck out of there. That could work. It might be a little unfair to somebody, and because you might have a team in your third team in your division worthy of making the playoffs, and yeah, there's always gonna be complaining. Outside of my idea for the NBA, which is just straight up 1 through 16, regardless of location, because I'd be doing away with conferences and divisions. But the NHL, I don't think is ready for that. Just traveling and equipment and all that stuff alone is tough for the NHL. So, although I've always wanted the NHL to go to kind of a series type scheduling, where kind of like baseball, where you play a series. So the New York Rangers will have two games against the Panthers or something. That's usually it's the layout. They play 2 at home and 2 away when it's out of division. So the New York Rangers, they'll be in Sunrise for Thanksgiving. So if you're a New York Rangers fan, that's your time to see the blue shirts or whatever, you know. Constant crisscrossing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, especially for the case of moving the Detroit Red Wings east. I mean, that was the whole point of it. Was that one was because Winnipeg moved from Atlanta, so it kind of screwed everything up right there, and the Red Wings really wanted to come back east, even though all of that success that they had was them playing in the Western Conference. But of course, their dynasty and empire collapsing was more of a result of Ken Holland not wanting to rebuild. So not rebuild in the right way. Of course, now they got Steve Yzerman to watch, and in like 2 seasons, the Red Wings will be back. That's a scary thought. Especially in the frickin' Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division is competitive enough as it is. Like, this is probably... Like, the Florida Panthers probably have one of their best assembled on-paper teams in a while. And yet, we're in a division where we have the defending Eastern Conference champion. The team that had the best... That tied the... gosh, how did I lose my connection here? The team that tied the single season record for wins, the Maple Leafs, who are still competitive, even though they'll be in cap hell at some point. They got to start paying their players, but we'll see. I mean, they of course can pay their players, but they can't keep all of them, and they still can't beat the Bruins. So as long as the Leafs play the Bruins every first round, we'll be good with that. And so the Panthers are kind of, I guess, right now, they're, according to Vegas, they're the 4th. They're projected to be have the 4th best chance of winning the Eastern Conference. So that puts us as the first wild card, barring the Lightning not doing as well next season. And you could have a first round between the Panthers and the Lightning, which would be great for hockey down here. The Leafs kind of, you know. Like, how do you do, folks? And then they just leave. We'll see how some of the, I guess, I don't know if you could call them bubble teams or the surprise teams are going to do next season. I.e. the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. I think with Barry Trotz there, I think the Islanders will be fine. It's the Hurricanes, which, you know, I mean, they played out of their minds and all that stuff. It's the Hurricanes where I'm kind of a little wary if they can kind of bottle that magic of being the bunch of jerks for another season. I mean, they had been rebuilding and all that stuff, so this is kind of the culmination of that. So there's a good chance they will be back, but a more well, because a lot of people project the Blue Jackets to take a fall, and are essentially placing the Panthers in the place of the Blue Jackets. Yeah, well, at this point, I thought, you know, everybody was hoping Don Cherry was retiring, and yet, alas, he is not. But whatever. I think Don Cherry is going to be one of those guys that'll stick around until, I don't know, like, he'll retire and then he'll die. Like, I don't know, I'll tell you this to be mean. You know, even though I said I didn't like Don Cherry, and I could say that because I pissed next to Denny Potvin, but that's not... I don't wish ill will to him. It's just, you know, I just don't want him on TV because he's a moron and has made very questionable comments, especially when it comes to non-Canadian teams. And comments about PK Subban, that's kind of suspect. Oh, speaking of, I mean, frickin' the Devils. Very surprised that the Preds traded Subban. I know he didn't have a season up to his standards, but he's always had bounce-back seasons after a not as productive season. So, very much surprised that happened. And that's another point, BU. I think because it's that kind of thinking. It's in the NHL. Heck, even the NFL. I'll say that the NFL. They eased up on their touchdown celebration rule. They eased up on it. They're allowing players to do their thing with that. So, all right, we won. I mean, you're seeing this sort of, I guess, old school thinking versus new school, like players having fun, people having fun. And you see it both in the NHL and Major League Baseball. Like Don Cherry would like a guy like Madison Bumgarner because he's an old school guy and he doesn't like any of that showing off thing, but... You know, I like the fact that there's some fire to these players, man. There's some... I mean, that's the stuff you want to see, right? That's that kind of like the sort of the flourish, the flair. You know, the kind of like even like in a WWE sort of way, you know, just to make Charles happy, you know? Just put on a show, like, it starts some beefs. I like beefs. Beefs are beefs are good for sports. They really are. They really are. Beefs are fantastic for sports. Heck, it was fantastic for the Hurricanes. Don Cherry called them a bunch of jerks, and they rode that all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's beef is fantastic. If the Hurricanes didn't do that, who knows? If the Hurricanes had been a boring team, if Justin Williams frickin' didn't kind of spur this as the leader of the team. And he did it in a very respectful way. And the Hurricanes clinched their playoff spot, and they stopped the storm surge out of respect that, hey, okay, now we're in the playoffs, time to go to work, you know? The people had their fun during the regular season. Everybody was excited, was happy, and the Hurricanes made the playoffs for the first time in forever. So they didn't really disrespect the game. They actually honored the game very well. And I bet you there were some people that didn't like the fact that, just to kind of turn it back, because the whole like not shaving during the playoffs, that never used to always be a thing in the NHL. I think it was the New York Islanders that started it, the dynasty, with Denny Potvin and those guys. And even then, not all the guys did it. So I bet you there were some old school people that were like, oh, well, they should be shaved, they should, be clean shaven and be respectful, man. I bet you there were people like that, and then lo and behold, it became a tradition in the NHL, So let people have fun. Once again, I've always come back to the point. This is the league where people actively throw dead octopi or octopuses, whatever you want to call it, plastic rats, when frickin' Hammond was single-handedly carrying the Ottawa Senators to the playoffs. People were throwing hamburgers on the ice, like catfish on the ice. So the NHL, crap. The NHL has always been weird before. Heck, the NHL even promoted a commercial where it was titled "Let's Get Weird," where all the insanity of fans and stuff just started happening. So the bunch of jerks, storm surge. That's just the weird stuff. It's the weird stuff. It's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. All right. I wish baseball was a little more weird. We can't have people throwing stuff onto the field. It's a bigger surface. It's harder to clean. Speaking of, I remember when the Marlins, it was, I don't know what year, 2010 or something like that. I went to a Marlins game, and they were distributing pom-poms. They were very reflective pom-poms, like silver pom-poms. And so it was a very windy day at, I would think it was called, I forgot what it was called at that point, but whatever. Pro Player, Joe Robbie, whatever you want to call it. The Marlins' old ballpark where the Dolphins currently play. And it was very windy. I forgot what team we were facing that night. I think it might have been like San Diego or something like that. But people were ripping the pom-poms and throwing them out onto the field. Because the wind was just carrying them. It was just carrying the pom-pom. And so the field was glittery as heck on TV. Well, you could see it live too, but on TV you could see it as well. I know Tommy Hutton was pissed off. And Tommy Hutton's an old school guy. Saying people should stop doing that, but I was like, this is kind of fun. I forgot whether the Marlins won or not that day, but it was very fun. It was very, very different. Heck, I'll tell you this. If the Marlins had won that game and went on a run or something, it's like, oh, they mentioned something about the glittered field. I bet you it would have been a thing. And then the Major League Baseball would have had to make a rule, much like when the Panthers had their Stanley Cup run with the Rats. They would have to make a rule like, okay, fans, you can't be throwing this type of crap on the field, or else we'll assess. I don't know, the team will forfeit the game or what have you. It wasn't a disco demolition night type of thing where the game had to be stopped and forfeited, or was it once or 10-cent beer night in Cleveland? But it was kind of fun. I mean, of course, the Marlins didn't do anything afterwards, so that's all a moot point as far as sparking excitement. But dude, weird stuff gets people on runs. Weird, like, I mean, you had the Squirrels, the squirrel in St. Louis. Heck, the Squirrel's now a secondary mascot for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Happy Flight stuff, the Rally Monkey in Anaheim. Things happen. Weird stuff happens, and teams run with it. So the fun stuff has always been there. It's just that when it's happening to you, maybe it's not. When it's happening against you, it's not as fun, So I'm sure, yeah, if a guy's flipping bats and doing whatever, and he's on the San Francisco Giants with Madison Bumgarner, who already, you know, World Series champion. I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame type of player, but at least one of the better pitchers of this past generation. I'm sure he wouldn't have any problem with if it was the Giants doing all the winning. Well, of course, he's frustrated. The Giants are losing. He's probably going to get traded. So yeah, maybe he's a little pissed off, and he considers himself old school, and he'll hit a player for showing him up. But I'll tell you this: pitchers have very thin skin. Major League Baseball pitchers have very, very thin skin. They can pump their fists and yell whatever all they want, but as soon as one player does it against them, oof, yikes! They are livid, and then they hit them. And especially if they're in the American League, yeah, the anti-goalies, especially if they're in the American League, you know, they can hit players and get away with it because they're never going to come up to bat. At least in the National League, you can hit a pitcher. You can hit a pitcher, all right? But, all right, so we won that game. Perfect. All right, let's do it. Pitchers are the anti-goalies of sports. Yeah, that's true. Well, goalies themselves are a weird bunch, that's for sure. I mean, you have to be. I mean, I think Roberto Luongo had always said that, hey, you got to be a little crazy to be a goalie. Because you got to sit there and take abuse every night and be willing to stand, just you know, stand there and have this vulcanized piece of rubber that's frozen being shot at you at 100 miles per hour from very, very close range. Okay. But yeah, but I'm a fan of these guys kind of showboating and all that stuff. If you ever watch this YouTube channel called John Boy Media, some people say he's single-handedly making baseball interesting for a lot of people. Ah, crap. Did not see that guy at all. They're just defending that middle there. So we're gonna have to find a way to sneak on through to the other side. Get over here. So yeah, John Boy Media, pretty a pretty fun channel if you're a baseball fan. And he sometimes covers other kind of sports, but he basically. And thank you. We're just gonna take that out real quick. Get over here. Yeah, he's almost got frickin' destroyed there. I need to find a way to sneak to the other side, but they are defending that area pretty nicely. Through. Okay, they haven't really covered this side at all. So now I'm on this side with them, and they have no idea that I'm here. So I'm just gonna take my sweet old time. And there are my teammates. Thank you. They saw what was going on. They saw what I was doing. And I'll throw that over there. I have my special ready to go, but I'm not going to use it until I absolutely need it. So right now, I'm having fun. am deep into these people's zone. And I'll just do a little of this. And this guy sees me, but he can't reach me. And that's when I use it. That's what I wanted. That's how you do it. That's how you do Splatoon, people. Might have lost. Ah! Ooh. But that's how you do Splatoon, okay? Sometimes you can't go in guns blazing right through the middle. You kind of have to sneak your way onto the other side. That's what I do. Because if you look, you can look at the entire map and those guys can see if you're just spraying right there and kind of standing there spraying, and they can see you covering their turf, they're gonna go after you. But those little spurts, and then you jump and spurt, they will not suspect that you're there, and you kind of sneak into their zone, and you're there all by yourself, and then that's when you start frickin' laying waste to the other team's zone. So that's what I do if I can't really speed my way through. I don't know why more people don't do that maneuver. It was easier to do on Splatoon 1 on the Wii U because you could see your map all the time. So I could kind of tell where I could sneak through, just by judging that the placement of the other players. So it's like, okay, they're not paying attention to that part. I can sneak through there and kind of lay waste to that side. So it's, holy crap, 1-1 in the 11th inning between the Giants and the Mets. Dear Lord. Okay, let's go. So, get that over there. Send that over there. Don't know how I I have no idea how I survived that. Or whatever. Gotcha. There. Retreat. I don't like confrontation much in Splatoon. I retreat as much as possible. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I don't normally splat people. That guy was ripe for the picking though. Do it. Get out. Thank you. I had 3 people focused on me, so my teammates better have done something in between that. That's another thing I like to do, is I like to be a distraction. Because I can maneuver and kind of get myself out of the way. Okay, I did not. That was a bad death right there. I shouldn't have died at that point. We are not doing well right now. So crap, that guy's gonna kill me. Okay, so we have the lead right now, but we lost 2 people, so go. Are you kidding me? And I have no idea. We lost. Yeah, we lost. We lost. That was a bad final minute by me. Usually when you're at the top, it means you scored the most. So, but I completely botched that final minute. I should have probably had another 100 points. So no good. That second death really messed me up, actually. That messed up the whole game. It's kind of been my style. I can't. And then I try to stay on the floor as long as possible. So I tend to only die once during matches. Once or none or no times. So it allows me to be on the map longer than everybody else so I can collect more points and my team has a better chance of winning. I mean, the less you die, the more a chance that you're going to be on the floor to get points. But when I die twice, that's when I have to scramble, and unless I have really great teammates, that usually makes or breaks the game. So it broke the game this time. That second death by me broke that last game. So let's see what I can do with this one. I can't believe this is the last Splatfest. I'm very, very much... I played this game so many hours. So many hours, but... I was hoping, like, it'd be pretty cool if we could still do, like I don't know, just somebody has like a suggestion kind of, like a website where we suggest the next Splatfest, just to have it continue, just to have the Splatfest continue, but they're user-generated topics. So, and I got double team. So user-generated topics. So the next Splatfest would be, I don't know, Mario versus Sonic. I don't know, it's stuff like that. I don't think they can do that because they'd have to get Sega to jump on board for that. But you know what I mean. They did that on the Everybody Votes Shannon death. That's the second time I died. That was a bad one. That was a really bad one. This team is alright. I think if I could sneak in on the right side, I might have a good shot, but my teammate's gonna find a way to ruin that. Just sneak through, and he's here. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Damn it! Mario versus Green Mario. Oh, that guy ruined my plan. I was on that side. I thought I was all alone, and he shot me down. If I die a fourth time, that's going to be unprecedented. I don't die this many times in one game. Okay, over there, you... And that's the fourth time, actually, so I've died 4 times. Okay, so this is not good. Not good whatsoever. Now I gotta find a way to collect these points quickly. Let's find some easy ones here. And let's just... let's get up there and see what happens. We lost! That was a really bad game by me. I must be getting tired. It's almost 1. I've been doing this for almost an hour and a half. Scored 1134, so despite the fact that I died 4 times, I still scored a ton of points. But if I died 2 times less, we probably win that game. So, ah, boy. So yeah, but NFL teams. NFL is about to start their training camp. People down here in Miami, at least the radio guys, are excited because they already talk a ton of football anyways, but it gives them even more of an incentive to talk about football because now they have stuff to talk about, even though I don't know what the Dolphins really want to talk about. And that's a thing I've had. I've said it. And I said it last episode. The Dolphins lost a generation of fans here in South Florida. They did. They're lucky enough that I'm still a fan of theirs, even though it seems like I enjoyed the patheticness of the Dolphins more than I like them succeeding. Even though maybe because I don't know what it's like for them to succeed very much. So to find some enjoyment from the Dolphins, their constant mediocrity and inability to get better, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. It's kind of fun. It's always fun to be like, okay, how did the Dolphins dolphin it up this past week? You know. Even though I really do hope Josh Rosen finds some success here, because I don't know. I would say 6 wins would be a successful season, especially if you can attribute the 6 wins to his play. Okay, despite the fact that the Dolphins are an awful team with nothing around Josh Rosen, he found a way to get 6 wins out of them through his arm. You know. And my team zone is not thoroughly covered here. So yeah, let's see what Rosen can do. At the very least, the Dolphins could tank enough to draft the next quarterback next draft, whoever that will be. Everybody wants Tua, but when was the last time an Alabama quarterback was successful? I don't know. At least, elite level successful in the NFL. You know. There's that guy. Just over there. Go. Come on. Go. No! Okay, that right side doesn't have anything. So let's at least cover this. And let's find a way. Ah, crap. Cover it. That was a pathetic last 10 seconds there, but I think my team got enough. Yes. Okay. I think I have one more battle in me. Okay, I did well. This was a good one. I have one more battle in me, one last Splatfest. And I think I'll get to the next level there. So, actually, let's check out the gear. I'd like to be able to escape faster. So, let's see what we got here. Put this on for now. Fine, let's go. Come on. So yeah, what else can I talk about? I'm just looking around my room for topics I can talk about. I can talk about a lot of stuff. I went to Target today to buy some clothes, and they don't have amiibos over there. I was hoping to find. They always had some. They always had like a batch of it or whatever, but they've reduced their gaming paraphernalia section. It's just really, they've actually made it a lot smaller. Just one row of Xbox, one row of PlayStation, one row of Nintendo. So, even then, one of the rows, I think it was like the PlayStation and the Xbox row, had like the gaming paraphernalia where they have like the Funko Pop and what all the socks and all those knickknacks. There, it wasn't as long. So, I guess if I want amiibos around here, I'll probably have to go to Best Buy. I still have a gift card for Best Buy. There's some money left on it, so I gotta spend it on something. And I haven't bought Super Mario Maker. I still haven't beaten Cadence of Hyrule, so I think I'm going back to Atlanta next week. That's probably a good time for me to play it on the plane, or when I'm just hanging out at the hotel. So I haven't bought Mario Maker. It's gonna be there. People are still making their levels. I thought I was gonna utilize the level creation, and wow, this is taking forever for me to get into a room here. Well, it's 1 o'clock. You would think I'd have more West Coast people popping in. It'd be easier for me to. There's less people on the West Coast, so. Thank you, Amy, for finally joining us there. I thought, but yeah, so I thought I would use the level creation tool more in Mario Maker 1. But I only made about like 10 levels, I would say. Nothing too spectacular. I was more into it when, in Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 and Mario versus Donkey Kong, the third one. Forgot which one that was called. Those were my two favorites, actually. So I was really into the level creation tool then. I'm sorry the series kind of lost its way towards the end. Even though I still would have preferred. I mean, I liked the second and the third one, and I played the. Well, I would say the fourth one really, because technically it was the fourth one. And whoa, I just jumped right into the Booyah Bomb there. So that was dumb. Let's go to the. I have a teammate on the right, so I'll just go here. Up, another Booyah Bomb there, pop that. Let's go. You're not gonna get me a second time. Nope. Pew. Pew. Go. Ah, they popped it right as I was about to. Crap. Get the heck out of there quick. Are you kidding me? This person followed me all the way over there? Crap. Come on. I can't frickin' refill this special gauge for the life of me. Crap. Ah! Oh, there's a big chunk in the middle there. And of course, their zone, which I was trying to get. But alas, somebody got my sprinkler. Get that booyah bomb going. And this person's after me, so I am out there. Let's just get some easy points. Yeah. Yes! Got it off just in time. I think we won? Yes. Okay, that's a good note to end on. My final Splatfest for Splatoon 2. A lot of points by me. I didn't make the most points, but I made a lot. So, I guess that's it, folks. It's well past 1 o'clock. I gotta go to work, but thanks be you for joining me. Anybody who watched this on any of the 14 other channels that I'm on. It's been good. It's been real fun. I'll of course keep playing Splatoon after this. None of my, I guess all these people are asleep. I'll keep playing Splatoon after this. It's still a fun game, but it's not having a Splatfest is gonna be. It's gonna miss it, that's for sure. So, I'll enjoy this one, and I guess I'll see everybody later because it's the end of an era. It's the end of the era of Splatoon 2. So, I guess I'll see you guys in Splatoon 3 for the next Splatfest for the Nintendo Switch X Pro. I have no idea. Whatever it's gonna be called. Whatever they're gonna make. Alright, whatever. Bye.